up, though? This is Reyes Poetry, and we're here at the Hollywood Casino at Greektown, and we're on the 28th floor, and this is the Culture Suite, and we're here with some of our friends, and we're going to have this series of discussions leading up to South by Southwest. So I'm here with one of my co-hosts.
Just Shagoy.
And
Xavier, go by Barely Hispanic on the internet.
Make sure you find him. And we're here with our good friend, Diego Cruz, and it really depends on what he puts in your music video, if he fuck with you or not. I'm not gonna give you which one he puts in, but this is one of the one of the best creatives in the country on the video side, producing, directing, and we're just really happy to have you here, bro. And man, we're just gonna get into it, bro. Like, what have you currently kind of been working on? And more importantly to me is like when you're putting together these videos that you're pitching, right? What are you pulling from for your visual side, right? When you're creating,
what am I? What I pull from is I try to pull from like films or like art. You know, anything that I just find on the internet. It's like I have a lot of stuff that I save from Instagram. That I'm like, yo, this is dope. I might want to use this for a music video or something like that. But mainly film. I watch a lot of movies, so I try to pull from movies all the time. Yeah, big time.
What's your genre?
Oh, I don't have a specific genre I pull from. I just watch everything. I know that's like a easy answer for most people, but I literally watch everything. But if I have to pick a favorite, I would say it's between horror and like crime dramas. Like, I know that's kind of like not too close to each other, but yeah.
So how does a Mexican kid from Detroit get into like shooting for some of the top artists in the country?
Oh man, that's a weird. That's not a weird question. I don't know. I don't know how it happened. It just kind of happened.
I mean, I met you really early on, and you're like, I don't even know if you had shot a video, like a music video yet, but you had worked on the Awkward Theory project. That produced, right, with Damasio. Yeah,
I don't know, dude. It's just working with a lot of different artists. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like with what I do, I kind of just don't stick to like hip hop. I go to R&B sometimes. I've done a couple rock videos. I've done a country video. I kind of just like go where I think I can do some really dope shit. I can cuss, right?
Yeah.
I just heard you cuss. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, you can cuss. I'm only allowed to cuss.
I'm curious because obviously, like, I do the camera shit as well.
Of course.
And like, we're from the same part of the city. So for me coming up, like, I had an example of like, oh, there's like Latino people that do this and like they do it well. Did you have a you when you were starting out?
No, there was no me, I guess. Yeah, no, there wasn't. I was looking at other creatives like Gerard Victor and just like other like music video directors that were outside of Detroit, but that was the only one that I knew from Michigan. I wasn't gonna say Detroit, but I always give him a hard time because he's from Canton. But if he sees this, he's gonna laugh. But that was the only person that was local that was like, I felt like, oh, like I see him do a lot of stuff with like artists like that are from Detroit. That I was like studying his stuff like early on. But no, I didn't have a me that I could just like reach out to and like, hey, what's up? That's why I'm very big on like trying to make sure I answer DMs. Because I didn't have that, what I mean? Like, and people are always surprised, like, oh man, I didn't think you were gonna answer. I'm like, dude, I'm just like a regular, like I'm gonna answer you and like just.
But I think like, I think like what happens is because they see your visual right on Instagram. We've been talking about the real persona and the internet persona, and like kind of like Shakoy's talking about like how you can curate an image too. Mm-hmm. So I think people get lost because of celebrity. Right, you're adjacent to a lot of different celebrities, and so I think that might be the surprise in them, right?
Yeah,
so
I'll give him a D. Cruz answer once.
A D. Cruz? Which one is it that's like, if you really want
to... all right.
Explain this.
The running joke was... That was really because I was trying to figure out how to brand myself as a director early on, like if I should just go by Diego or D. Cruz, and... The running joke is depending on what type of video you got a different...
you can either get the D. Cruz. Which one is the one that is it the D. Cruz?
It was nothing. If you didn't get nothing at all.
I don't even want my name on
it. But yeah, I stuck to... because a lot of artists that I was working with, even now when I run into them, they just call me Cruz because that's what they were like. That was my Instagram name. It was like D. Cruz and like a number. And I'm like, this isn't... Like, to me, I'm like, this isn't like what my brand should be. So I kind of switched it to directed by Diego, and that was kind of where like... kind of took off.
So what were your like you growing up in Detroit? What were you pulling from musically? Like what did you fuck with? What did you listen to? What was like we had like a whole mix of Southwest Detroit artists here today too.
Right.
And so, what was your mix? Like, what were you listening to?
Back then, or now in general?
No, like back then. Like, what was like
Oh.
your influence as like coming up as like, let's say, just growing up in Detroit?
What were the music videos you were
Oh,
watching?
Yeah, what was you fucking
I
with?
was watching a lot of Hype Williams stuff. You know,
Yeah,
a lot of stuff
yeah.
from Hype Williams and Benny Boom. That's pretty much what I was just watching. Ludacris and Missy Elliott, I feel like, had the best videos. in
Yeah,
my
and usually they were like Hype Williams
yeah,
videos.
Yeah, they were Hype Williams videos,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. So Hype Williams was like in the early, that was like, he was the GOAT. You know what I mean? I mean, he still is in a, in a sense, but there's so many like super dope directors now. But yeah, I was watching a lot of Hype Williams, Dave Meyers, even though he still does stuff now. Who else? Yeah, I think I think Missy Elliott's were probably like, her videos were probably some of my favorite.
Yeah,
videos.
Busta Rhymes kind of was in that same lane
Yeah,
too.
exactly. Busta
Rhymes, Ludacris.
I mean,
Missy.
who else had some really cool videos? I mean, Eminem had cool videos, but like I never really liked the silly, goofy rap that he did. I
Yeah.
liked the videos and.
So
liked
what
the
about
songs.
music then? So who were you really listening to? Like coming
Back
up?
then?
Yeah.
Oh man, because I'm an old head, bro.
I mean, so am I, bro. I'm older than everybody in every interview here. Like,
I was listening to Eminem. I'm not gonna lie, like I was, but I was listening to like a lot of like Ludacris. I listened to a lot of everything. T.I. was probably one of my favorites. Cash Money, No Limit.
Cash Money, No
yeah,
Limit
3-6 Mafia
Okay.
for sure. Yeah, when I did a cipher, I think like 3 years ago, 4 maybe, and DJ Paul was in it. And then when he like said the Mafia, like he said it out loud in person, and it just like I couldn't hold it. I was just like, damn, that was dope. Like I said it out loud. I'm like, that probably wasn't the most professional thing to do. But like growing up listening to their music, and then like me being in a room with a lot of, like I got to work with Fabulous, like growing up listening to him, I'm like, damn, this is like surreal. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I never thought in a million years I'd be in a room with a lot of these artists that I got a chance to be in the room with. So like, yeah.
Which of those moments, if you had to pick one, or if you had to pick a few, because like you mentioned you didn't think you'd get to the point that you're at now. What was the moment career-wise where you were like, oh, I'm like doing this, like I'm like you've established yourself, and you're like, oh fuck, like I'm a real director, like I do.
that video looks real. It looks like a real video.
That's such a thing that everybody says. It's a real video. I think the Fabulous video. Yeah, the Fab video is probably what I sat, because at that moment, like it was when they were like not letting me touch a camera. It was a whole crew. And that was like the first time I ever got to do something like that. And I'm like, oh wow, like this is it. You know what I mean? And then like COVID happened, but like whatever. But that's another story. But yeah, that was the video. You know, because like again, like I was a high school kid listening to this man, and now I'm like directing a video for him. And I'm like, dude, this is like crazy. And it was one of the most listened to songs on that album too. So it was not only was it like exciting, but it was like a lot of pressure too. 'Cause the video had to be sweet, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talk about budgets.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit when an artist comes to you, right? Because I know we've talked like off camera about this. Is like you might have a $30K budget, but the video might cost $32K.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So like, how do you balance your vision with what the budget is?
I try to think under like as far as I have a good understanding of what things might cost, because that video, the Fab video, taught me a lot. Like I'm like, damn, I'm thinking like, because you gotta think, I came from the underground scene, so like when somebody's like, oh, here's 30,000, I'm thinking like, oh man, I can. This might as well be $1 million, you know? Like, because you're doing videos for like next to nothing, you know. So it's like, but once you start, figuring out like all these things cost, I'm like, oh damn, like okay.
Even just
really
the camera rental, maybe
everything,
quality,
like location, all that. So like, yeah, I didn't. We're under budget because it helps when you know people that you work the relationship. That's the biggest thing in this industry, is having the relationships that you can count on. Like, hey, hey Reyes, you got a warehouse, or Xavier, you got a, you know what I'm saying? Like all these things that I thought I turned it off. All these things that you can call that won't cost an arm and a leg somewhere else. You know what I mean? So thankfully, I had people that were doing that for me, because if not, yeah, I definitely would have like.
You talk about that a little bit, because like that's one thing I like. What we're trying to like also with the podcast is like also kind of inform those folks that are inspiring to be in the creative scene. Like what has that done to be able to have those kind of like peer relationships, right? You always want to have like, how has that shaped what you're doing? Like,
I mean, if I didn't have those things, I think it would have been a lot harder. Like if I didn't have people that were in I guess rooting for me, or I had those good relationships with. Look, having relationships in this industry is like having great credit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
The better relationships you have, the more you're going to be able to accomplish. Or they might know somebody that has this or X, Y, Z. So, yeah, I think that is what people don't understand is like making sure everybody's trying to at least taken care of, or if you got to pull a favor, you got to make sure you follow up on the favor, or whatever it is, that you got to keep that relationship intact, because that's what's going to save you in the long run. I feel like if I didn't have a lot of relationships that I have today, or built those relationships, that a lot of these videos would be a lot harder to accomplish. So that's the main thing I feel like people need to understand, like the relationships go further than money and anything else in this industry, for sure.
You've talked a little bit about branding and kind of going through that, and we've interviewed a few other people about like being a person versus being a brand. Can you speak about how I think you do it really well, like as a high operating professional? Can you speak a little bit about, was it a struggle? How did you come to you as a brand?
I'm still coming to terms with that, honestly, because I don't like when people. It's weird because like people are like, oh yeah, man, you're da da da, and I'm like, oh okay, you know, like you know, like I don't think about that sometimes, and it sounds weird to say, but like I have to in a way, because again, it is my brand that if something does go wrong, it's not on this person or you or whoever's helping, but it's on me. So it's like this, I guess, trying to figure out like where Directed by Diego and just Diego is like, all right, I'm still kind of working on it, honestly, because I'm just now getting to where I want to be, or like the start of where I want to be. And I never really established that, like, okay, like people might see me as this, and I don't see myself there. I just see myself like, you can just come up to me and talk to me and just like, you know, we can kick it and talk about whatever you guys want. So that is a hard question to answer, because I don't know. I haven't really like figured that out yet, to be honest with you. I haven't. Like,
I think that's part of like the discussion in our podcast about the creative process, is like we're all still figuring pieces out at all different levels. And I think there's this expectation that we see just from like social media that like we all got it figured out, and none of us, we all have the imposter syndrome or insecure. There's all these things that we don't get to see behind the smoke and mirrors. Yeah. Right? So I think that's
I definitely people are like, man, you're da da da, and I'm like, oh okay, but we're just talking now in person. I could just be walking down the street. Like, to me, like I don't think I don't consider myself famous unless I can't walk down the street. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be famous. I just want my work to stand out. Like I've gotten this far without a logo. Like if anybody ever watches my work, like I don't have a logo that just pops.
Well, you
up.
Don't put your logo on everything?
No, I don't have a logo that says like Directed by Diego, like that pops up like how other like some other like directors have. I don't have that. I've done it without it. And I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, and they're like, "Damn, I never noticed that." I'm like, because I didn't want the logo to overshadow the work. You know what I mean? Like, I just wanted you. As soon as you saw it, you're like, "Oh, this is for sure his shit." You know what I'm saying? Like
that. I'm like curious. One to that sentiment about like wanting the work to stand out at the point that you like have reached and continue to like grow into, where you've really got like a team. Like you're beyond. Gone are the days of like Diego pulling up with like his camera in hand.
Sometimes
I know, yeah.
That's a culture creator video.
Yeah, on special request, and on a favor. But you're at the point now where like consistently like you've got these bigger productions or shoots that take multiple days, etc. I'm curious like how you like what makes you feel the best. Is it still just like, hey, that video looks great, or now is it like that the production went smooth, or that like we did this thing really well, because you've got so many moving parts now, as opposed to just like, oh, this frame looks really good.
I think it's the execution of the overall the actual video. Like once the video comes out and it's put together, I'm like, oh man, this can't. I had a recent video that it was falling apart like before we even got started. I was just like, no, I don't know how this is gonna turn out. And then I missed the flight to get there. I got there during like they were shooting without me. Like they had to hire somebody to shoot without me, because like I was gonna get there like an hour after the call time. So I'm like, man, like how. So it was in my head. I'm like, oh, this is gonna go terribly. But once we put the edit together, I'm like, oh, it turned out great. So really, it's just the end result. You know what I mean? Like as long as the client is happy, at the end of the day, like the audience will never know that I showed up late or that this thing didn't show up. They're never gonna know that. You know what I mean? Like unless they see a behind the scenes vlog, but like most of the times they don't. So I think for me, like the most satisfying thing is being able to make sure it's like an accomplished piece of work that people enjoy. Because if I'd probably drive myself crazy if like I just hung up on myself on all the things that went wrong about it. You know what I mean? Because if that was the case, then I'd be like I don't want to do music videos. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, definitely.
They
definitely
say like music videos, like for film and videos, like that's the hardest. Like they say, because like it's a grueling, like
Really?
That's what I've heard. I'm asking, like for you, when your experience.
Well, I haven't. Well, I don't have it to compare nothing to yet. You know,
Okay.
I don't have any short films or anything to compare it to yet.
So what made you choose music videos? Like
I
at
just
what
love music.
point did you were like, I want to film and I'm gonna do music instead of going towards the short film or?
Well, I do love music, but I did a short film with some friends like 10 years ago. Actually, 11 years ago, 2013 now. It was terrible. Like I meant to drop it in October because that's when we did it. But like, yeah, my friends still now push me to do it. Like, oh man, you gotta just go back into it. And I'm like, I will, eventually. But I did the music video stuff to get better at filming. I'm like, I need to practice, but I also love music. You know what I mean? So like, it kind of made sense. It just snowballed into what it is now. And then I don't want to say I'm stuck, but I was like, damn, I love music so much. But I try to find a happy medium with doing narrative pieces of work with music videos, still trying to tell a story. And I mean, even when I read comments, when I do a narrative video, and then people are like, "Oh man, this the story," and I'm like, "Yeah, there you go." Like
We've been talking about that with a lot of other artists. It's just like you get known for something, and how difficult it can be to like venture out of that kind of like narrow vision of what people have for you.
I mean, I have guys that do independent films here in Detroit that are just like, just come on, man, let's come to the dark side. You know, and I'm like, I will eventually. Yeah. I mean, they be making some sweet stuff too, and I'm like, man, your shit's sweet. So I'm like, I'm ready for it, but I don't think I'll stop doing music videos. You know what I mean? It had to be like, it had to be how I transitioned from working my normal construction job to the music videos.
Another Mexican that's in construction, bro. That's what we were talking about.
Fucking
Yo, everybody. So, like, speaking of that, I just wanted to like get into this just for a second. So, like, your family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you were growing up, was it like Mexican music? Was there like what? Like, what was that?
No, yes and no. Well, my dad listened to a lot of like. I don't know, like soft rock too.
Okay, I mean, that also could be like the oldies, type of stuff.
Oldies, classic and stuff. But my sister was into hip hop. You know, she's the one that got me into like listening to like Tupac and all this other stuff. And then like she was, like, everybody in my family had a different taste in music. But yeah, it was a majority of like, and then my dad plays like on like just for fun. Him and his buddies would get together every weekend, drink. And be in the basement and just
sounds
play.
familiar.
Yeah, I'd be playing music. There's still the drum sets in the basement now to this day. So like, yeah, I kind of always grew up around that, like music and stuff.
What was their response? Because I know, like, again, we were chopping it up with EJ earlier about the same thing. Like, you're Mexican. How'd you end up doing like electronic music and stuff like that? Like what? And I know, like, again, like how Latino parents can be incredibly supportive and everything, but when you're doing something that is unfamiliar,
right?
You know what I mean? Like, how'd that go?
They were just confused for sure. Like they were like, they're like, oh, okay, like, and then they thought I was just gonna be like this, like quinceañera filmmaker, and like having a van that has my name on it. I'm like, that's not what I'm going. Like, I don't think my mom has ever seen a music video that I've ever done. To be honest with you, but like, she don't listen to that type of music.
Right.
But the funny thing is, when I shot the video with Vezo and the baby in North Carolina, she actually lives in North Carolina, and she stopped by, and like Vezo was like, yeah, talking to my mom about like me and like how long we've known each other, and my mom just sitting there like, because she doesn't understand what he's saying, like, smiling and looking at him like, yeah. So I'm trying not to laugh because it's like he's being genuine about it, about it, and I'm like, man, she doesn't understand one word you're saying, but. No, to her, she didn't care about none of that. Like, right. She just wanted to make sure, But I think she has an understanding of like what's going on. You know what I mean? Because my brothers kind of explained it to her. They're very supportive. My younger brothers are very supportive. But yeah, coming from like my parents, my father owning a construction company, they're like, oh, okay, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, because I have one of your hammers that you left, and we still use it.
Yeah, I left it, as a.
I was like, hey, bro, I'll hold this for you, bro. If this shit don't work I'll hold this for you. You feel me?
Well, and that's another thing too. Like my old boss, he was also pushing me to do this.
That's cool.
He was like, don't worry about this. Don't, this isn't what your end game is. Da, da, da.
You're making videos on the construction site? Like,
No.
how did he know? Like,
Well, because I would talk to him about it, and I would
okay.
show him, and he actually was going to be an actor. And I guess some family stuff happened, and he quit and came to work construction. He, I guess the way he explained it, he never said he regretted it, but he regretted it,
Yeah.
Because where he was heading, it was could have been in a different direction. Not way better, but a different direction. And so to him, he was like, hey man, if you got the chance to do it now, do it.
What did you do in construction? Like, what was your job?
Concrete. Oh, I was a laborer, bro. I was just
laborer?
I wasn't a finisher or nothing. Even though I knew how to do all that stuff, but they weren't. You know how the union is. They're not gonna let you just.
This is like the most. All the Mexican artists we've had on. This has been like the most Mexican conversations.
Yeah,
I was a laborer. I could do the finishing, but
Yeah. Oh, because my dad taught me all that. My brother, they taught me how to do all that shit. But I think that's where my work ethic comes from.
Yeah. That's for sure, bro.
Yeah,
when you work in construction or you're doing something physical, it's a different level.
Yeah, because I'll get up at 5 in the morning. We just did it in Texas to get a sunrise scene for no reason because it ended up being overcast. I was pissed. I was like, oh, all these sunny days, and then the day we wake up, it's overcast. I'm like, cool, that was cool. But it's even now I still wake up early. I don't get phone calls and text messages till 1 o'clock, and I'm like, damn, I get so much done early.
We don't operate.
Yeah, most creators don't operate.
I'm on the opposite spectrum. I'm in the middle of some construction projects that I'm managing for our nonprofit. But everybody is joking oh, you don't wake up early. I'm like, bro, I'm getting home at 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I'm getting home at 6. I'm lucky to get up out of bed by noon. If it's in the weekend, Thursdays.
I'm sleeping by 12. If I'm not shooting or doing something, I'm in bed by 11, 12.
There's
nice.
I think there's something again to be said about that work ethic and how it carries over to a more creative field and especially now I don't know when people grow up with the internet or just making content and all that kind of stuff. I think a lot of times that commitment to it as work and as a craft is missing. You know what I mean? And I think
for sure.
I'm curious. We've asked some other folks you see all the young guys constantly, I'm sure, and I'm curious if you had advice or what you would tell a younger you that's trying to make something or figure out the lane that they kind of want to be in.
I would tell them I would just honestly, if I could talk to a younger version of myself, I'd tell younger Diego to stop being so hard on yourself. I think that what most people forget is that you're supposed to make mistakes. You're supposed to. I think my biggest thing was I never wanted to make a mistake. I never wanted to be bad at something. But that's how you do get better. You know what I mean? I had a lot of people that were better than me tell me how bad my stuff was at the beginning, and it didn't bother me because I was like, all right, this is how I'm gonna get better. But I feel like a lot of times people forget that it's okay to make mistakes. You know what I mean? It's okay to not do this or not be perfect all the time. I think a lot of people
give yourself that space to learn.
Yeah, a lot of people forget that they think they have to be perfect at this. It has to be perfect. No, it doesn't have to be perfect because a lot of times you like I said earlier, they don't know what's going on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? They don't know that Reyes sent me to the wrong hotel. But I'm here doing the interview. You see what I'm saying?
Now they do.
Now they do. But those type of things happen. You know what I mean? They don't know that. You're supposed to have a red car, or you're supposed to. Let's just keep creating and keep making stuff. That's what's gonna make you better because it's there's no other way around it. You know what I mean? There's no other way to cheat the 10,000 hours. You can't cheat that. There's no way you could just, all right, now I'm great. You know what I mean? Because you're going to run into that's why I'm kind of glad I've gone through the steps that I've gone through because now when things happen on set, I don't freak out. I'm like, oh, I've done this. I've dealt with this.
It seems like a lot of your learning has been that moment.
Through error.
On that
error
site.
has followed every single one of my videos. From some either a big error or a small error. And then you just all right. And then the next video, if something does happen, I'm like, all right, let's just figure it out. And then I'm glad I kind of went through the run and gun stage. A lot of guys didn't, because when it's a crunch time, I'm like, all right, let's give me that camera, I'm going, and then it's like we make it happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, because like when I was late to that shoot in Atlanta, we ended up having an extra hour because like I was just like
You were able to.
in go mode. I'm like, all right, let's do this. Da, da, da. I think the crew was probably pissed, but like because they didn't get no breaks. So I'm like, you guys had a break before I got.
Oh, you don't say like Cruz getting upset with no breaks.
No, they had a break. We had a lunch break, but like they were
We
just
didn't.
we're on go. We were on go mode. You know what I mean? Like,
I've been okay. Look, you
There's
wanna
no
talk about
union
not
here,
waking up?
Papa. No union
there's
here.
not. You're not talking about
There's
not
no
waking
union
up.
that's how I
here.
said. I'm like, this ain't a union.
We had a
No,
meeting
no.
at 9 in the morning. 9 in the
I'm like,
morning.
bro,
I had
I'm
to
about
be
to
up
pay
at
you in cash.
8.
Nobody.
Man,
This ain't
We
the
were supposed
IRS
to eat
don't.
at the morning. And
I'm
we
like,
didn't.
Well, see, if it wasn't for Carmen, shout out to Carmen. I'd just keep working through lunch, bro. I'd be like, why are we stopping? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah,
let's
for
keep
sure.
going and just. But I get it now.
Because
Like,
motherfuckers need
Yeah,
to eat.
well,
yeah, I know.
hey,
You gotta
need
eat. You gotta eat
sustenance.
for sure.
Well, let us know where we can find your work, like, you know, and if there's any projects you want to plug, anything new coming up, let us know. You know, you can let the audience know.
You can find me on all social medias at Directed by Diego, on Twitter or X or whatever you guys, whatever generation you're coming from.
MySpace.
I don't think I have a MySpace. I might.
My MySpace
Yeah, you
got
gotta bring it back.
deactivated. I want to do a MySpace party.
Yeah. And I think I know I got some videos coming out. We just filmed some stuff with Mexican OT that's coming out. I should be dropping soon.
That's exciting.
And then like I don't know, like got some stuff with Cash Dog coming out. Yeah, pretty much like I got some work out there with Kevin Gates. I just dropped like maybe a month ago. It's on YouTube. Yeah. That's what
Man,
you can find
well,
me.
thank you for being a guest with us.
Yeah,
Sorry
thanks for coming
about the
by.
No,
location.
it's okay, no.
I was like, yo, if he wasn't my friend, I'd be super embarrassed. It was a 50-50. What do we have here?
A Chillbean.
Chillbean, one of our sponsors, Chillbean. Shout out to Chillbean. They will be in South by Southwest.
That's a cool little.
So
That
this
is cute.
is like, I guess you can just like put it in.
Yeah,
there.
they're
You
like
ever
these
seen like the
inflatable-
festival like seating
So
things?
when is South by Southwest again?
It's coming up. We'll be
March.
there the 15th, but it's
Okay.
like March. The music side, I think, starts like the 13th to like the 18th. We'll
Damn,
be
I
there.
might
We
go.
have a
Not
show.
out.
You should come through.
Yeah, you should. We have a Backwoods and Bonfires mini showcase on the 15th.
Mini.
Yeah.
And there's like
Look,
a whole
we
culture
just-
That's in
stuff.
Austin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, we bully a nerd. We get a badge. We go watch some movies.
Hey.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I'm with
saying?
that.
Like,
I'm actually gonna watch a movie tomorrow. I'm gonna watch Dune Part 2. So.
Oh, hey,
dude,
let's go.
I'm
Let's
so
go.
dialed in, bro.
I'm so upset. I know you. Are we still?
No,
running
we're
it?
good, bro. Go ahead.
Because like I'm
It's
in
our
Houston.
show. We can
I'm
do
in
whatever we
Houston
want.
working, and then all my friends are texting me like pictures of them.
to
at
the,
the
they
dinner.
went
I'm
to the
like,
early screening.
holy
Yeah,
mother-
dude.
but that's
I'm
definitely one of those.
Are you a solo goer or a group goer?
Solo goer. I go everywhere solo. I'm a solo goer. yeah.
Terrifying.
Why is that? I want to know what. I want to know why that's terrifying to go to the movies. Mike.
I don't know.
I
It
love
just,
going alone.
I know
Yeah.
you and Jawad too. Like y'all just.
I mean, I'll go with my friends because we're movie.
Yeah.
We're buffs. Like we watch.
I'll
everything.
go multiple times.
I
That's
know.
what fucks people up. It's
He
like
does-
I'm gonna
he
go
does
watch it by
field trips.
myself, and then you should watch it. So I'm gonna take
Yeah.
you.
Xavier does like planned out field trips of like what group
No,
you gotta
for
fit
sure.
in his
No,
schedule. of-
yeah, because if I go with some of my cousins and they're not into movies, I'm like,
Ah,
wait, no more,
yeah,
bro.
bro. Family. What is
No.
that?
Yeah.
Well, they all like most of my brothers are into movies and
So
stuff.
you got good
yeah.
taste.
So yeah, they have great taste.
But your cousins?
like some of my cousins are like, no, I'm not throwing no shade. I love y'all to death. But,
I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. I didn't like it.
like
It
I'm the
was
guy.
it
I'm the
even
guy that's like,
about?
I'm the guy that's like, hey, you gotta watch this part. You know what I mean? I'm like the
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Leo.
I'm watching you
know
watch.
what
Yeah.
If you don't like this part, you're.
I don't like it.
Sounds
You
questionable.
gonna get the D Cruz label on the video?
I don't know. Maybe when I go to the film side, I might just switch it back to
okay,
D Cruz.
okay.
Just switch
You know,
it.
for old time's sake.
Cool. Hey, man, thank you for being a guest.
Oh, for sure.
We're
Thank
at the
you for having me.
Hollywood Casino at Greektown. Shout out to all our sponsorship. Where's our Chillbean over there? We're also going to be at South by Southwest. So, yeah, check for us. Hey.
Okay, chill, B.
Yeah, so, hey, bro, for real, though. Thank you.
Oh, for
Sorry
sure.
I sent
All
you the wrong location.
My word.